80% of the rods within a nuclear reactor actually is silver. And with the new renaissance in the nuclear industry coming, we're going to see another big driver of silver demand over the next decade, which will be quite interesting to see. And here we've got two industries, the EV and the the photovoltaic industry, solar panels, consuming almost 300 million ounces of silver. And we're producing 830 million ounces of silver as an industry, and these two industries are consuming about 40% of the market.
Silver plays a crucial role in today's world due to its unique combination of physical, chemical, and economic properties. Its significance extends across multiple domains, making it indispensable in modern society. From an industrial perspective, silver's high thermal and electrical conductivity, reflective properties, and resistance to oxidation make it a vital component in various technologies. It is extensively used in electronics, where it ensures efficient conductivity in semiconductors, circuit boards, and other electrical components. Solar energy systems rely heavily on silver for the production of photovoltaic cells, a key technology in the global transition to renewable energy. This application is especially critical as countries strive to meet sustainability goals and reduce carbon emissions. In healthcare, silver's natural antibacterial properties are utilized in wound dressings, medical devices, and water purification systems. Its effectiveness in preventing microbial growth without promoting resistance makes it a valuable material in medical and public health applications. Financially, silver serves as both an investment and a hedge against inflation. Unlike fiat currencies, silver has intrinsic value and a history of being used as money, which continues to make it a sought-after asset during economic uncertainty. Its affordability compared to gold also makes it an accessible option for investors seeking to diversify their portfolios. Moreover, the environmental implications of silver are noteworthy. Silver's applications in clean energy and water purification contribute to its role in addressing global environmental issues. Innovations in recycling and sustainable sourcing are helping to mitigate the ecological impact of silver extraction and use. Overall, silver's importance in today's world lies in its versatility, blending industrial utility, financial value, and societal significance. It is a metal that not only underpins many aspects of modern life, but also holds promise for shaping a sustainable future. This is why experts have remained optimistic about silver prices despite decades of underperformance, often predicting significant price increases for the gray metal. First Majestic CEO Keith Neumeyer is one of those experts who remain feverishly bullish on silver prices. He recently outlined the metal's incredible dynamics in a recent presentation delivered at a precious metals conference, detailing exactly why he is so bullish on silver prices and his expectations for the metal in 2025. As we present clips from Neumeyer's presentation, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
We're seeing demand right now of around 1.2 billion ounces of silver, and this is an estimate for 2024. I've heard numbers as high as 1.4 billion ounces of silver consumption expected in 2024. These are pretty substantial, numbers that we've never seen in the history of the silver market before. As it says on the slide, there's over 10,000 uses of silver. And the crazy things like yoga clothing, soles of your runners, paints in hospitals, linens in hospitals, filtration systems. Of course, when going back to the 80s, when silver was primarily used in the photographic industry and the photographic industry went electronic, there was a lot of silver around, because all of a sudden this one industry that was consuming 25% of the world's supply of silver disappeared. And then I noticed that being, at a copper company in the early 90s, and when I put First Majestic together in the early 2000s, I put it together because of the thesis, because I was seeing electronic usages increasing dramatically, and I expected that was going to continue. And that thesis has paid off quite nicely. And the last bullet there, and this is something that is some people don't, we heard the nuclear story on the prior presentation, but 80% of the rods within a nuclear reactor actually is silver. And with the new renaissance in the nuclear industry coming, we're going to see another big driver of silver demand over the next decade, which will be quite interesting to see. And here we've got two industries, the EV and the photograph or the photovoltaic industry, solar panels, consuming almost 300 million ounces of silver. And we're producing 830 million ounces of silver as an industry. And these two industries are consuming about 40% of the market. So they've replaced photography by twofold, basically. So the above ground supplies back in the mid 80s was about 5 billion ounces of silver sitting on the surface of the earth. Today it's estimated, and there's a slide coming up, that there's about 1.2 billion ounces of silver left on the earth surface. So this is the total supply, and you see that mine supply has been basically flat, slightly negative. We did have a peak back in 2016 of 880 million ounces. Then in COVID hit, we broke through 800 million, and then we had a recovery. Recycling has basically been flat. There's no money in recycling. Your cell phone has $3 or $4 worth of silver in it, and it's going to cost a recycler some multitude of that to even try to take it out. These technology companies of the world are very good at embedding copper and zinc and silver in these circuit boards, and it's almost impossible to extract these metals out of these computers and televisions and refrigerators and microwave ovens and all the different things that are part of our daily life to get these metals out of these components that we rely on and consume on a regular basis. So. And what is future demand or future supply going to look like? Well, over the last 10 years, it's been flat. What's the next 10 years look like? You see worldwide grades dropping among the silver sector. Our grades at First Majestic have been dropping over the last 20 years since I put the company together. I see it all our peers, the same thing. The production from all the major silver producers on the planet has been flat and or negative. And what's it going to take? Well, Hecla came out with a number just a few months ago that it takes 17.9 years to build a mine from discovery to first production. And that's a shocking number. So if you're ever going to see this number increase, what are you going to have to? First, you're going to have prices go up dramatically because the mining sector is not going to make the investment necessary. The mining sector is still in shock from 2011, 2012, where the mining sector thought that the metal prices were going to continue higher. Silver was 2011, silver was $50 in April. In September of 2011, gold was almost 1900. And the M&A activity in 2011, 2012 was quite paramount, and it hit a peak. And then over the next 3 to 4 years, all those mining companies wrote down those assets almost to zero, to zero in many cases. And the mining sector was highly criticized for buying assets that appeared to be at the top of the market. But the mining executives at the time were being told by the banks that silver was going to go to $70 and gold was going to go to 3,000. Of course, it didn't happen. The metals, silver retreated to 12 from 50, gold retreated to 1,000, and the mining sector was highly criticized, as I said. You're not going to see the mining sector do that again. And this is what is going to happen with supply. So to change this number, you're going to need to have triple-digit silver probably for a decade to make any difference in supply, which is pretty shocking. So in an environment where we're already in a substantial deficit and you got the nuclear renaissance happening, what's going to happen to prices? Where's the metal going to come from? So these are the deficits that we've been experiencing over the last few years. The 2024 number is an estimate, of course, but nevertheless, these are substantial deficits. We don't know where this metal is coming from. There's lots of guesses where it's coming from, speculation that maybe it's coming from Russia. India is a big buyer. China's a big buyer. It's illegal for China to export silver. India is planning on building the largest solar farm in the world. They're going to need a lot of silver for that. Maybe that's why they're buying so much right now. Their Q3 silver consumption was the biggest on record. I think they imported something in the order of 75 million ounces of silver in that quarter. Pretty staggering number. So this deficit's not expected to change in any way, in the foreseeable future.
As a prominent voice in the precious metals sector, Neumeyer and his first Majestic Silver are overseeing measures to ensure silver takes its proper place as a critical metal. At the beginning of the year, Neumeyer and 18 other CEOs of mining companies wrote a letter to the Canadian Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Jonathan Wilkinson, urging that silver be considered a critical mineral, as doing so would position the country as a supplier of choice for strategic allies. The executives also sent written questions about the methodology adopted by the U.S. Geological Survey to a House of Representatives subcommittee, expressing concerns about the USGS's methodology for its critical minerals list and offering suggestions for improvement. The executives were particular about silver's omission from the critical metal list, noting that silver has many great qualities that earn it a place on the list, even more than some other metals that made the list. Silver is identified as the best electrical conductor, the best metallic thermal conductor, and the best reflective material, the executives wrote in their letter. These qualities make silver an essential and irreplaceable component for many industrial and technological applications. Researchers from around the globe have raised the alarm that silver is a potential bottleneck in the transition to a low-carbon economy due to supply limitations, disruptions to the supply chain, competition for other uses, and increased demand. The executives were also able to conveniently establish that silver meets all of the criteria for the list. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, a metal is considered critical if it is a non-fuel mineral, element, substance, or material that the Secretary of Energy determines, has a high risk of supply chain disruption, serves an essential function in one or more energy technologies, including technologies that produce, transmit, store, and conserve energy. During his presentation, Neumeyer outlines other significant measures his company has embarked on, which he expects to begin to bear some fruit in 2025. The firm has put in place measures that can devastate the unethical practices of the so-called bullion banks that continue to manipulate prices lower.
And going to inventories, as I mentioned earlier, we had 5 billion ounces of silver sitting on the Earth's surface back in the 80s, and this is commercial bars. This is when I mentioned inventories, this is 1,000-ounce commercial bars. This does not include silver jewelry, does not include private investments, it doesn't include your 10-ounce bar in your home, okay? This is commercial silver. So in the LBMA, it says quite clearly 1.2 billion ounces, but most of that, about 1 billion ounces of that, is actually held by ETFs. So it's not even available for the market if it was. And something I love to talk about is the paper market. You've heard me rattle about the paper market, I'm sure, many, many times over the last 20 years. But the market trades, as it says on the slide, 190,000 contracts a day, which is the equivalent of about 1 billion ounces, 950 million ounces of silver paper trade every single day in the market. There's 200 and some odd day, 252 days of trading in a year, and that translates into a ratio of 240 to 1. So for every 1 ounce of physical silver that trades daily, 240 ounces of paper trade daily. It's pretty shocking. I'll get into the next. You've seen this slide already. This was in my prior presentation, so I'll just skip that. But this is why I opened up a mint. There's a couple of reasons why I opened up a mint, because out of frustration, quite frankly. We started selling silver to the retail public in 2008. And it got to be quite an interesting looking business, back, 2021, 2022. And the mints just wouldn't supply us the metal that I wanted. I kept shipping them dory bars, well, not dory bars, but refined 1,000-ounce bars. And they were sitting on their floor for months and months and months. Like we would wait 6 months for a mint to send us our refined, our 1 ounce coins and our 5 ounce bars and so on and so forth. And it was quite frustrating. My finance department, my CFO was frustrated because the amount of inventories that were building that was outside of our control. We actually had one of the mints go bankrupt on us, and we had $8 million worth of silver sitting on their floor, and the banks moved in and claimed it was their silver. Right? And we go like, and Pan American had, I forget how many ounces now, I think about 12 million. Tiffany's had about 40 million ounces, $40 million on the floor, and the bank seized everything. And we all had to go to court, and we've got back about 80% of our money, but we did, have that loss. So, we don't want to have our metal sitting on other people's mints, and that same repeat occur. So I decided to open up our own mint. So we started the process last year, and we turned it on in March. We started producing bars, and then we just turned on our coin machines. And that coin that you can see, it's on the next slide. We're now producing coins as well. So it's a pretty exciting part of our business. And what does it do? Well, and the other reason why I did it is because of this 240-to-1 ratio. If you do the math, we're hoping to get about 10% of our total volume through this mint in 2025. Right now, we're at about 5%. So at 10%, that works out to about, so that's 240 million ounces of silver equivalent in the paper market that we're taking off the market. So we put 10% of our production through this mint. We're effectively taking 240 million paper ounces off the market, which is pretty, substantial. If we if we can get 100% of our production through this mint, which we're hoping to achieve, it'll take some time to get there, but assuming we do get there, then that would be the equivalent of 2.4 billion ounces of paper silver we can take off the market. Pretty interesting. Think that'll drive the banks crazy?
Throughout 2024, silver has demonstrated significant strength, reaching its highest levels in over a decade. Factors such as growing industrial demand, safe haven buying from investors, and constrained mining supply have driven silver prices up nearly 35% this year, outperforming gold, which has seen a 32% increase. Over the past week, silver prices have experienced some fluctuations. As of December 26, 2024, silver was trading at approximately $29.74 per troy ounce, showing a slight increase from the previous day's $29.66. This marks a rebound from the 3-month low of $29 observed on December 19th. The recent uptick in silver prices can be attributed to market reassessments of the Federal Reserve's anticipated monetary policy stance for the upcoming year. Softer than expected core PCE, personal consumption expenditures, prices in November have alleviated concerns about overly restrictive interest rates, leading to lower bond yields and providing support for precious metals like silver. Analysts remain optimistic about silver's prospects, with some forecasting that prices could exceed $40 per ounce by 2025, driven by ongoing supply shortages against high demand. Do you agree with these estimates? Please share your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching our videos.